Hello there everyone, nubkeks here and welcome back to Nub Raids, where we are on the test server right now to check out in detail, in depth, Kunoichi and what she can do for you. Why are we doing this? Well, from tomorrow, the 9th of November, all the way through until the 7th of December, Kunoichi is going to be available for free to anyone who has Prime Gaming. So make sure to link your, I think you have to go onto your Prime Gaming account. There should be a claim now button. It's going to give you a unique promo code. You enter that promo code into your raid account and you will get Kunoichi. And then there's more drops, more packages coming over the coming few months. We're also going to show a bit of Genbo off here in today's video as well, who is going to be the fourth reward, which is going to be in February of next year. You're going to get to see a little bit of him in today's video. Might get a whole bunch of new viewers here today as well. So if you are new, if you've picked up the game because of Prime Gaming, make sure to subscribe, stick around. There's lots of great content on the channel. At least I hope there is. That will help you with your game. So yeah, we're going to be checking out Kunoichi and also then Genbo, the Dishonored, two champions from the Shadowkin faction, probably my personal favorite faction overall. Really fun one. It's up there. I also have a really like Sacred Order myself as well. You know, like Crazy Bishop. What's not to love? Amazing. Amazing. Let's dive in though. And Kunoichi, I think Genbo is very straightforward. I can show you Genbo as well. But Kunoichi is a really interesting champion. And I think there's some very, very different ways that you could build her and ways that you can use her. Let's break down her kit and then let me explain why. And then I'll show you some gameplay of what she can do for you as well. I think it's actually her A3 ability, which is really the big selling point here. Interpose. This only has a 3-turn cooldown when booked, which is very short. Places ally protection on all allies except this champion for 2 turns and fills this champion's turn meter by 50%. I think this is an excellent move for keeping you alive. This is one of the most powerful defensive buffs in the game. Basically, half of the damage your allies take will be redirected to Kunoichi instead. Now, I've built her in a weird way, but there is a quirk to this, guys. I have built her with lots of crit damage, which could very well be bad, and we're going to talk about alternate builds depending on where you are in the game. The reason being, there's a weird thing in the code. I don't think it's supposed to really be like this, but it is, which is if she redirects a crit, the damage from that crit will actually scale off of her crit damage. So if you build her with more crit damage, she's going to hit a lot harder, but she's also going to be taking a lot more damage through ally protection. So we're going to discuss why I'm doing this in today's video and why you may not want to, or why you may want to. One part of the reason why is Blooded Grit. Her passive here does have a 5-turn cooldown, but when her HP drops below 50%, she will get block damage on herself for 1 turn. So this can help her stay alive and survive through that ally protection reflected damage, which is really good. Her A2, Poison Piercing, has nothing to do with poison for whatever weird reason. Weirdly named move. 4-turn cooldown, so it's a bit long. AoE attack, the damage scales off defense. So does her A1, by the way. And it has a 75, that books to a 100% chance of placing Leech for 2 turns. Her A1 is a single target attack with a 40% chance of placing Weaken for 2 turns. Leech is actually quite a good debuff. It's really underrated, to be honest. Leech will heal you for a portion of the damage that you deal, so it can really help your team stay alive in a big way. And it synergizes very strongly with this mastery, War Master. This extra damage, especially against bosses, high HP targets. This can be a massive hit that will give you a huge burst of healing with Leech debuff out there. And then the A1 Weaken, especially for newer players, is quite a rare debuff to come by. It's just going to make enemies take 25% more damage, which is, again, very, very useful. It's kind of difficult to get champions with AoE Weaken. You'll have champions with AoE decreased defense, but not AoE Weaken, and they're sort of the 2 parts of the big damage puzzle. So yeah, it's a good kit. I will say there's not a ton, and this is the reason I built her with damage here, guys. There's not a ton in her kit in a sense. Like, yeah, she does the ally protection, but she's got a way to keep herself alive. And then when she's not doing the ally protection move, she's just doing these 2 moves with damage, and her damage is pretty decent. It's not the best, but it's quite solid. So I kind of figure we will build her for damage. So this is what we've done, a kind of a mix, hybrid build. Guardian set, this comes from the Doom Tower. This is hard to get. I think it's probably her best set. If you don't have it though, really any sets that are going to be giving her things like resilience here, HP percent, defense, that's going to be really good. Speed, accuracy, if you need to get enough speed or accuracy, this stuff is going to be very helpful. So yeah, any sort of these defensive sets. Guardian is really nice because it's going to do some extra ally protection. It's basically an extra 10% ally protection, and it's going to give her a bit of healing. The healing is not really that important. She's going to heal herself a lot, which is the leech damage and attacking. But the extra ally protection, I think, is quite nifty, and she can, again, take the hit with her passive. So in terms of the total stats I built her up with, I put her with very, very high defense. This is a lot of defense. She's got very, very high, good, solid HP. You could build this higher for sure. I have her with good speed at 216 as well. And then I did put her, not with 100% crit rate, but 90%, just with the gear I had. I did put a ton of crit damage on her for what the sort of champ she is. And then the accuracy. There's a lot of different ways you can build her. Honestly, for, a newer player, dungeon level 20, you want about 220 accuracy. You could probably get about 200 accuracy because your masteries can make up for it, though I don't have her in any support masteries right now. But you could send her down this way, and for example, Swarm Smiter is going to give her bonus accuracy, which is going to let you get away with about 200. About 200 accuracy though, sweet spot for faction wars and for dungeons. You can absolutely drop this crit rate and crit damage. It's not important, but I think it's, if you're going to min-max her, if you're a bit further into the game, I think it's worthwhile. She's not going to be at huge risk of dying, and the extra damage makes her do something a bit more useful. Definitely high speed, good defensive stats, and enough accuracy are the way to go. And then even cranking resistance up as high as you can for something like Arena might make her a bit more useful. And then for masteries, I sent her down the offense tree for War Master. I think that's actually very important for any sort of dungeon-based content or faction wars. It's going to give her a lot of damage and therefore a lot of healing with Leech. It's going to massively up her damage and for Clan Boss as well. And then the defense tree I think is good and fine as well, giving her some ways to counterattack. You could absolutely send her down the support tree and make her debuffs have a chance to be longer, up her chance of placing debuffs. I don't think she needs that actually. I think she does for her A1. So that would be good. Give her a better chance to place debuffs with her A1. That would be fine as well. So you got some flexibility. Let's dive in. That's enough babbling. Let's see her in action. So the first thing let's take a look at is in Shadowkin Faction Crypt. So what I've done is we're going all the way up to stage 21, the hardest stage, and I've thrown together a team. We are going to use a different team when we go into dungeons to really focus on Kunoichi as a solo ally protection champion. What do we have in this team, though? Let me show you the team build really fast. All epics. We got Taragi the Frog. Now, he is another ally protection champion, and he also comes in. I think this is an interesting comparison. I think he's overall better than Kunoichi because he brings in ally protection, but also gives him a really big heal, and it puts a shield on all of your allies as well. So it's a shield on top of ally protection. I think that's better than Kunoichi, also in a 3-turn. Then he also has an AoE provoke, which I think is very, very useful. It's not guaranteed, but it's a good chance to AoE provoke and then decrease attack A1. He also got a passive where you can put out poisons. I think overall, he has that better kit. And you can see the differences in how I've built them because of it is that with Taragi, I'm really building him as the tank, right? To be provoking, to heal himself more, put out a bigger shield. He is that pure sort of tank and protecting the team. Then Kunoichi, I've given her a bunch of crit damage because I feel like she's got less utility, but she can bring in potentially bigger hits. Let's see how they're going to do. Actually, just to show you the other ones. Genbo, to mention, he gives himself increased crit rate, crit damage with an extra turn, then big AoE hit. His A1 also going to hit hard. So I've built him with really high attack, really high crit damage. He's dropping the crit rate to 70 because he gives himself an extra 30%. Then he does have a bit of accuracy, but that's not important. He's really in there just for attack, crit damage, 70% crit rate, boom, blow them up. I've got a Sachi in there. She's going to be giving us increased attack for the team. Also another source of leech, and then AoE. She's going to hopefully be throwing out some stuns, so I have her very, very quick to do that, to really be giving us attack and turn meter as much as possible. And then Kinagashi, very, very quick as well, with lots of resistance and tanky enough, though her defense is very low. She's in there to revive if we need it, and she's got a bit of an ally attack with some turn meter boosting as well. So that's how basically the team and how it works. Let's dive in. Let's go. And one fun thing about this team is that because we've got the 2 ally protectors, you're going to see it here when they go in. So there's the ally attack first of all. Increase attack for us. Ally protection goes out. Now you can see that ally protection from Kunoichi is not going to get overridden by by Taragi because she'd put it on for 2 turns. But the advantage here is that you can see ally protection not on, it's fallen off, and Genbo barely lived right there because he has that extra turn mechanic. He goes down. That's why we have a reviver in here. Actually, it was the Sachi passive there. Her passive, if she kills somebody, will actually revive. That's what picked Genbo back up. But yeah, this 2-turn ally protection, when you've got extra turns and you've got these very fast characters, they can outrun it. And there, as you can see, Taragi will overwrite her ally protection if it's only got 1 turn left, like it did on Genbo. But if it's at 2 turns, it won't. It's just quite useful that both of these champions, they don't, ally protect themselves, but they can ally protect each other. So everyone in your team can have that ally protection. It's just going to spread that damage out and make sure that big single target hits are going to struggle to kill you. Here we are against wave 2. Let's take a look at Kunoichi's damage a bit here as well. So you can see again her ally protection helping him stay up. Massive slam from Genbo. You can see he really does hit hard. The A1 from Kunoichi, it's not doing crazy damage. We don't have an increased defense on this team, which is going to make her hit harder because her damage scales off of defense. Attack doesn't do anything for her. But we'll see how we can make it work. So we're going to go in. What we really need soon, hopefully, is an ally protect. We don't have any of our ally protection ready right now. So this is quite scary. Taragi is the target. He gets smacked, but he does survive. The Guardian set on Kunoichi helping him a little bit there. We get some turn meter depletion right there. That's nice. This smack is going to hurt a lot. He gets taken down. You can see that ally protection really hurting. So we got the revive out now. There goes the leech. Excellent. We see the ally protection goes on to the Taragi as well. And now we're going to start smacking. What I would love to see... Ooh, he got taken down. Hopefully we come back to the revive on time. Not sure if it's going to be up in time to 3-star this one. It could be close. Could be very close. We got a decreased cooldown from a reflex set there. That's what we want to see. Can't resist that stun. She's not being targeted. That's good. Taragi's being targeted again. Ally protection's back on. We've got the revive, but will it be enough? He's surely going to be targeted here and taken down. He is targeted and taken down. I did test this out, guys. We did 3-star it, but it's clearly a little sketchy. Kunoichi, don't steal the kill. Kunoichi stole the kill. So we only 1-starred. I did test this out. You can 3-star, but it's a little bit sketchy. We can see in the damage overall, Kunoichi's damage built like this is not bad. She's helping people to stay alive. But it's not super guaranteed, right? It's not super guaranteed. They can still totally get smacked, but it does give you a level of protection, a level of safety. We got through it, but we didn't 1-key it. Let me run it again. Let's see if we can 1-key it. And bearing in mind, her damage output's not bad. Considering there's no increased defense, her damage output isn't too bad. But she's not going to, she's obviously not going to outperform a Genbo, especially when he has increased attack. I'm going to run it one more time. We'll see if we get it. I can confirm you absolutely can 3-star, but let's see if we can get lucky the second time. How luck dependent is it? We'll find out after this if it's 1 in 3 or if it's 2 in 3. It's probably 1 in 3. I'll be right back. Okay, just to come back, let's see. You can see there what I wanted to come back to is the leech healing. Actually quite solid when she comes in right there, just to jump in on the boss. She was targeted by the boss's first hit, and it heals her up enough that she is still in this, still alive. And again, look at that leech healing on Genbo. He hits so hard, he jumps up, and there again, hey, the second time around is a much better showcase. We can see the ally protection on Genbo, that massive hit from the boss, it comes in, but we're all good, and boom, there we go, second time. So hey, 2 times out of 3, let's go with it, it works. And again, we can see the sort of the breakdown here at the end. Obviously, Genbo, he is doing all of the damage right here. Kunoichi, she's doing some decent damage, but these healing numbers you see on everyone, right? Taragi has lots of healing. He heals himself for a big chunk, but Genbo doesn't have any healing, obviously. Kunoichi, Sachi, Kinagashi, they don't have any healing. These healing numbers are coming from that leech debuff, and you saw it right there in that boss fight. That leech debuff, it makes a big difference. So yeah, Kunoichi, I think she's good. She is good. I do think that Taragi is a similar champion though, and I think he just does that job of being the defender, the tank, the protector. I think he just does that job a lot better, but she really isn't too bad. Now, the other area I wanted to show you was what about a dungeon run? What about that? So what we're going to do, we're going to jump into stage 20. We're having a little bit of fun in this one, so it's you know, it's a similar team. We've got the Sachi, who's giving us the increased attack and turn meter boosting. So she's going to help our damage dealers hit harder. Although, unfortunately for Kunoichi, no increased defense again, but it's okay. It's not too important to bring it for her. In this team, again, I said we're having some fun with this one. So we got Morrigan in here. She is the current fusion that I literally just fused today, right before recording this video, really. She's going to come in with an AoE True Fear and also increasing our turn meters and giving us increased speed. So keeping us going fast. You can see she's hella fast. So much speed on her is keeping her going quick. It's that crowd control is really going to help make these runs much more consistent. And then we've got Mistrider Dahi. It's an Irish name. That's what we're going with. I'm sure Plarium intended that and they didn't randomly pick it off the internet because it looked cool. But he actually does give himself increased attack. He's going to be bringing us the AoE decreased defense. You're going to see how much of a difference that can make. So we're going to go in here against stage 20 of the dragon. So you can see... and here we go. So we got that AoE True Fear. Again, a champion like Taragi the Frog is going to do a very similar job with the AoE Provoke, locking them down. But what I wanted to see in this run was that, okay, look at that massive hit there from Genbo. He absolutely smacks with that decreased defense out, and he gets increased attack. He just goes to town and rips them apart. We also have stun set here on Sachi, of course. So we're stunning them, we're True Fearing them, just trying to stop these enemies taking a turn. See Mistrider Dahi just popping off, doing lots of damage, really softening them up with the decreased defense. Nice hits coming in. Here we go. And we're just staying ahead of them. Ally protection is on, but we don't particularly need it at this point. There we go. Actually, the hit does come in, and hey, it probably kept him alive. We don't have a reviver in this team. Well, apart from the Sachi passive, which we have seen proc once, but it's very unreliable. We don't have a reviver. It was helping us stay alive. Now, this dragon will eventually hit us. You can see all these extra turns. We have Leech out right now as well. Hopefully going to help us stay on top of things. Big smacks from Genbo. Really, really big smacks right there. We've decreased his crit rate as well with Sachi. And hopefully, there we go. Ally protection is on. We'll see. We might be just outspeeding this dragon. So much speed boosting coming from Morrigan, the current fusion here. Unfortunately, again, from Kunoichi, she hasn't landed the weaken for that extra level of damage. And we have actually outrun the ally protection now on everyone. Will she get back on time to protect us before the dragon hits us? It's possible. All the extra turns. There we go. Speed boost. And there it goes. Interpose. It's back on. Again, unfortunately, with the extra turns, you can see... extra turns can be really bad. You really do outrun the ally protection there. Same thing with him. Extra turns, they are getting outrun. The big smack comes in, and you can see the health bars and these guys drop lower. Obviously, these two champions here are built tankier, but the ally protection did some work. Help them stay alive. Mistrider Dahi, he just extra turns for days. He doesn't care. And Kunoichi going in. You can see there 30k damage from her actual hit, 50k from the War Master proc, and that War Master proc is just dependent on the enemy health, whereas the direct damage is dependent on a whole lot of things. So you can see building her with the damage like I have, it makes her do a bit more, but it's certainly not essential. And you could imagine if we did have increased defense on, you could up that damage by about 50%. So she'd be doing about, 600k if we gave her increased defense as well. So it'd be similar damage here to the Sachi, but obviously nowhere near the level of these guys. Mistrider Dahi, by the way, absolute beast. Look at this, 1.6 million. The guy's a monster. So powerful. Really great champion. He's one of the new Sylvan Watchers. And there we go. Again, we can see that 2 minutes or so getting through Dragon's Lair. Kunoichi, how useful was she? Well, it's a little bit awkward, right? She was okay. She's decent, but not essential. I'd say she was the least important member of this team. I think this champion is good. Honestly, I had a bit of a higher opinion of her, to be honest, before recording the showcase. Now that I've actually used her and played with her, I think she's a solid champion, right? She's good. She's protecting your team. The leech is actually really good. And then the weaken is useful. It's a nice kit. I don't think she's like S tier. I don't think she's like the top of A tier or anything like that. I'd say she's like maybe a B plus, A minus type champion. She's solid. she might be worth building. I definitely think for anyone who is going to grab like a new player, if you pick her up as like one of your first champions, she's going to be so good for you. She's going to be massive for getting through campaign for the first time through dungeons. That is where with like, you know, your starter champion, your Kale or whoever you start with. I started with Galek, who's the worst one. It doesn't matter. But she's going to really help them stay alive and heal up with Leech. She's going to be so good for clan boss. But here in this, you know, I think for dungeons, for faction wars, she's good, but there are better options. So yeah, that's kind of my feeling on Kunoichi. Let me show you how I built the Genbo and the Mistrider Dahi. I'm sure everyone's interested about that as well, having seen that amazing performance from him. But Genbo, we do have him in lethal and cruel. So we're ignoring 30% defense right there. With the Masteries, who've got Helm Smasher, ignoring even more defense. That's going to give us the biggest nuke possible and make him very strong. So he was coming in like this. Pretty beast mode, to be honest, and he was good. Let's check out that Mistrider Dahi though. Really impressed by him. Where is he? Where does he have he's not ascended. No, awakened, I mean. He's here somewhere. There he is. Mistrider Dahi, he's a bit of pretty good gear. 4.7k attack though, 200% crit damage. This guy was completely trumping, absolutely trumping Genbo with way worse offensive stats. He does have a ton of speed, and that made the difference with all these extra turns that you can get. This extra turn, chance for an extra turn here. He just has so many extra turns. This guy is a monster. And War Master, this guy was just ripping stuff apart. So impressed by him. He was really impressive for me. And yeah, Kunoichi. Yeah, if I was to rate this champion, for the stuff that we have seen, you know, I'd be giving her maybe a 4 for dragons there. It's like she's useful to have, but not essential. Same thing for Faction Wars, a 4. She's a good champion, but not essential. She'd help you out in Iron Twins Fortress, the ally protection and the leech. That's going to be very good. And Demon Lord. Demon Lord is probably the area where she would be most helpful, right, as well. Going into Demon Lord, the leech, the weaken's going to up your damage against the boss. The leech will help your team stay alive, even if you don't have lifesteal gear on your champions. And especially again, once you start getting champions to 60 with War Master, going to be so strong there. And ally protection will help you stay alive. I think she's good for there. I'm not really a Demon Lord clan boss person, but there will be lots of other people with videos on her in Demon Lord clan boss out there, so go check those out. I'm not even going to bother because they can do it better than I can. But there you go. Again, Kunoichi, what do I think of her? Solid, good, but not amazing. But yeah, if you are a new player, is she worth building? Absolutely. She's absolutely worth it. As a new player, she's going to be great. And she will be valuable for you for quite a long time, especially when you don't have like the speed and the control. The more that your team is hit, the more that ally protection and leech matters. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.